guys, Fanimation Girl here, and today I will be reading Chapter 3 of All Fall Down. Welcome back. Sorry I haven't posted in a while. I kind of started a new channel because, yeah. So I'm really sorry. I'm, more into the other one because I enjoy doing stuff with Tsum. I'm, obsessed. I have, 49. Yeah, so, if you want to check that out, it's called Tsum Lover101. I'll leave the name of it in the description. And I can't leave a link because I'm posting it from my iPad and I can't do the link. But anyway, I'm going to be reading Chapter 3 if I can find it in my book. Okay, found it. So, yeah, this is for a request from a comment, actually. And let me see, who was it from? A few days ago. It was from Daniel F. DANIEL space lowercase f. Yeah, so, from his request, I will be doing this. So, yeah, let's get started. And starting now. Chapter 3. Oh, and scrap that. Sorry. I'm, really sorry for, any mistakes. I haven't done this in a while, and it's been all summer. Okay. Okay, let's get started. Chapter 3. I can hear the shouting, but I can't make out the words. Maybe it's because the doors to the ambassador's office are practically soundproof. Maybe it's because most of the shouting is in Russian. There is a guard at the end of the hall. He wears camouflage and carries a semi-automatic. We are definitely not in the United States anymore. I realize as I sit on a hard chair, swinging my legs back and forth, trying not to bleed on Russia's really nice rug. I didn't mean to do it, I mutter after a while. I know, Alexei says. He stays perfectly still, listening to the words that filter underneath the door. It was an accident, I say. He should know better than to go around grabbing people. He was trying to help you. I was fine, I say. The words automatic now. I don't have to mean them. I just have to make everyone else believe them. But Alexei has never been like everyone else. What happened back there? He asks. You were there. You saw it. What did you see? I recoil, but Alexei can't know about the visions or the flashes or the memories. He can't possibly have guessed that I saw my mother, that I heard her voice and felt her touch. I'm not seeing ghosts. The embassy is not haunted. But I am. And sitting on the hard chair, I know the truth. That what I saw 3 years ago will haunt me for the rest of my life. I don't realize I'm rocking back and forth until Alexei places his hand on my back. I freeze, then pull away. Don't touch me, I warn him. Whatever you say, Gracie. Don't call me Gracie. Okay. Alexei slowly nods. It's okay. At least, I hope it's okay. When Alexei looks to the closed door, I realize I'm not the only one who's afraid. What aren't you telling me? I ask, but Alexei says nothing. Alexei, what is going on? Things have been sort of tense lately. He keeps glancing toward the door. We're the United States. You're Russia. Things have been always sort of tense. It's gotten worse. Diplomatic relations are like an iceberg. About 90% of them exist beneath the surface, unseen by the world at large. But they're always there, and if you're not careful, they can sink you. I know that I just didn't fall into a photo op. I fell into treacherous waters and made things even worse. Gracie, my grandfather says when he opens the door a few minutes later. I stand and limp toward him. There is still dirt on my clothes, and the palms of my hands are red. I'm sorry, I say for what feels like the millionth time. Don't tell me, Gracie. Grandpa stands back and points at his Russian counterpart. Tell him. The man is my grandfather's age, but his hair is thinner and not quite as white. He has taken off his tie, and blood stains his white dress shirt. There is a bandage on his neck where the rose bushes scratched him. His left eye is already starting to blacken, and he glares at me as if I came at him with a switchblade. Mr. Ambassador, I tell him, I'm so very sorry for my carelessness. It was an accident. I guess I just don't know my own strength. I try to force a laugh. I desperately want to be funny, but the glaring man doesn't think so. It doesn't have to be a big deal, I want to shout. But it's no use. The Russian ambassador is bleeding, and it happened on U.S. soil, at the hands of a U.S. citizen. So I take a deep breath and lower my head. I am sincerely sorry. The Russian ambassador nods and then leaves. I might feel relieved, except Alexei's father is coming toward me. Very well, he says, and then he snaps. Alexei, come! Then Alexei stands and starts down the hall. I realize something. He's in trouble, too. Alexei's father stops at the end of the hall and glances over his shoulder, back at me. The look on his face is obvious. I've been in the country less than 8 hours, and I've already corrupted his son. Good night, everyone, Alexei's father says. I trust that this incident will not follow us into tomorrow. Gracie, are you okay? Miss Chancellor asks, dragging me from the Russian embassy and onto the street. We don't even wait on Grandpa, who is presumably still saying his goodbyes inside. Are you injured? She asks, but my answer is beside the point. She's too busy looking at me like I'm broken. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. She holds up her hand to stop me, the universal sign for don't waste your breath. Exactly what were you doing in the garden? She asks. I wanted to go for a walk. I thought you were going to unpack. Yes, I was, but what? I wanted to get some air. Some air? She puts her hands on her hip and whips off her glasses. You wanted some air, so you decided to attack the Russian ambassador during the middle of the annual tree planting ceremony? Do you know why your grandfather plants a tree with the Russians every year? I didn't attack him. It was an accident. It is to symbolize our renewed commitment to cooperation and hope for the future. It was an accident. I say again, softer this time. I had to get some air, get out of that room, and what? Miss Chancellor snaps. Please, Grace, tell me what was so urgent that you made a man bleed. I can't tell her the truth. I'm too exhausted to make up a lie, so I don't say anything at all. After a moment, Grandpa joins us on the street. He looks tired, older than I remember. Of all the changes I'd been expecting, this wasn't one. I mean, old is old. I'd never really thought of it as something that has degrees, but his hair is whiter, his skin is a little looser, and his eyebrows are definitely bushier. I wonder for a minute how I must look to him. I'm sorry, I say before he can start in whatever lecture is probably coming. I'm too tired to listen. I know you are, Gracie, he says as if he's seen me every week for ages, like it hasn't been years. He puts his hand on my shoulder and steers me toward the gates. So, how's your brother? Fine, I say. He's a West Point man now, I hear? Yes, sir. I bet your father's busting his buttons over that one. He's very proud of Jamie, I say as I look down at my dirty hands. No one is proud of me. How was your flight? He asks, his tone so conversational that he might as well be talking about the weather, inquiring about my health. Then I realize that it is the last thing he would ever ask about. Even small talk is a minefield now, so I just shrug and say, my flight was fine. Eleanor tells me you don't like your room. I cut my eyes at that woman. I didn't say that. I lie. She's dead, Grace. She's not going to need it. Some people would call my grandfather callous, unfeeling, cold. In truth, he's none of those things. And he's all of those things. Your mama would want you to have her old room, he goes on, and I see the soft, gooey center of his diplomatic shell. She was happy here. You'll be happy here. You've got to let her go, Gracie. Let her go? The words jolt me to a stop. I spit on him. You think I don't know she's gone? I shout. I was there, remember? I watched her die, and now you're telling me to let her go? No, you don't get to stroll back into my life and tell me how to deal with anything. Not now. Not after 3 years. Grandpa shakes his head. That was your father's doing. When he and your brother came for the funeral, we had words. After that, he didn't want you and Jamie to come visit for a while. Planes only go in one direction. Your father felt that it might be the best if you had some space, because He trails off then, but I recognize the silence that follows. Because I went crazy. I fill in. It's okay, Grandpa. You could say it. Because you were having a hard time. So that's the term we're using now? For some reason I have to laugh. How diplomatic. Grace, Miss Chancellor says, her voice a warning. Do you want to hear about the fire? I ask him, ignoring her. I was there. I remember everything, I say, but I don't elaborate. I may be crazy, but I'm not stupid. There are words I have stricken from my vocabulary completely. Murder, arson, homicide, scar. I know it's no use, and so I do not mention that the man I saw, the one who didn't appear on a single surveillance camera and wasn't seen by any other witness. It's no use to talk about the scar that was on his face, the one that was so cliched Okay, I'm going to skip that word because it's not very important and I cannot pronounce it. I'm sorry, people. And that was not part of the book. The one that was so cliched and sinister that everyone assumed my mind had pulled him straight from central casting. I don't tell my grandfather that my mother's antique store was ransacked. I don't say that when the building burst into flames, it sounded like a bomb. These are things I never say to anyone anymore. Not because I don't want to say them. I want to scream them. But there are things no one else will bear to hear. It was an accident, Grace. Your mother died in a terrible, tragic accident. His voice cracks. Tears well in his eyes. I'm not crazy! My voice stays steady. My eyes don't tear up. For a split second, I feel victorious. But I haven't won a thing. Go to bed, Gracie. He steps through the embassy gates, past the Marines who are constantly standing guard. You have a long flight and a long day. Tomorrow will be longer. Lots to do. Good night, dear, Miss Chancellor tells me, the lecture over. I don't say anything back. I just shuffle, dirty and cold, toward the doors. So that is the end of Chapter 3. I hope you enjoyed. Chapter 4 will definitely be coming out soon. I really hope you enjoyed. So bye!